Hey everybody, Mark here with the Average Me channel from Halifax, Nova Scotia. This is day 3 for me, and I'm a little out of breath because I've been just trudging up this hill. Now the hill might not look like much, but take a look at this building across the way. That building, in the distance of that building, it drops 1, 2, 3 stories just in the length of that building. That's how steep this hill is that I've been climbing up. Where am I heading? I'm heading to the Citadel. You can see the Citadel is that green area behind me. This is the 150th anniversary of Canada. So this year all national parks are free to enter. And the Citadel, it's a national park. Now it closes at 6 o'clock. It's a little after 4, so I hope that I can still get in. So let's keep trudging. There we see the symbol of the Citadel, the clock tower. And we'll be going past that in order to actually get up to the fort, which is way up there. Oh goodness, more climbing, but I'm getting closer. Well, I made it this far. See that? That's a sweat of my brow. But I'm getting up there. What a magnificent view from up here. You can see the ferries shuttling across the bay. My goodness, what a fantastic uniform. Take a look at that. And we continue in. I could not get through this door in the winter. Before I do, however, let's take a look at the moat. I call it a moat, but I don't believe this was ever really a moat because of the drop. It really couldn't have held water. It would just be a river.
What are you going to do if I never get it?
It looks like some construction is going in on this side. I'm curious as to what the masts are. Well, perhaps we'll find out. Fancy a game? Look at these old playing cards. These are awesome. Oh my God. These things are really worn. It's amazing that you can actually play with all of this stuff. It's an actual living type of museum. I wouldn't want to drink out of this rusty cup, but I suppose if it's all you had. And here we go. So where do we start? That is a beautiful gun. So I'm inside. I do not see a tour. There's a lot of tours going on, but I'm not sure if I can just join one. I might just sneak over and join one. But one of the things I do want to do is get up to that grass area behind me. So I'm going to do that, I believe, by climbing this staircase. So let's give it a shot. Like I haven't been climbing enough stairs and hills today. Wow, they're attacking the city. Holy cow. They're shooting the city. Boy, this is a better view still. Fantastic. Well, here's the masts I was wondering about. I don't know the purpose of them. It's just that, masts. I think it's interesting that they are not flying the Canadian flag, but they're flying the old British flag over there. Look at the size of that gun. I wonder what that's off. Obviously, they're doing a lot of work here.
This close to getting it for you as a joke. I don't need more jokes. I was.
Somebody get over Mackenzie's hurt and sneak.
So the Bagpipers back there, they told me that it was kind of coming to the end of the year for them. So they're just taking some pictures. I didn't want to get in their way. I didn't want to bother them at all. So I just walked on past. I'm just kind of wandering.
This building at its max capacity could store about 250,000 pounds of black powder. So that's arguably quite a bit. You want to take some precautions to make sure that if it explodes, you're maybe a little bit more protection. So some of the precautions you take is having an extra retaining wall right there to help kind of contain the explosion a little bit. Here, but the roof, or the ceiling at least, is actually an arch. So we put a regular roof on top of it because it's better at getting rain and snow off. But underneath that there's an arch canal. But on the bottom, arches are very, very weak. But an explosion will be hitting the bottom, the weaker part, which basically blow the roof of our powder magazine off. And so hopefully that combined with a retaining wall will help guide the explosion upwards into this big column of flames rather than a big ball of flame. Also, all the metal we use around here is going to be made of copper. By the inside the powder magazine, it's all made of copper, which once again, that's not going to cause sparks the same way that iron or steel would. So it's much safer building material to use there.
100 pounds of powder from 1866. I wonder if that's legitimate or reproduction. I mean, I realize there's no powder in here, but one just wonders about the kegs themselves. Oh, now I hear the bagpipes. Let's see if we can find those rascals. Look at this. How long is it taking you?
Generally, it takes people like 5 to 7 years to learn.
Yeah. It's pretty popular in this part of the country, isn't it?
Yeah, Nova Scotia has quite a bit of Scottish history, so there's quite a bit of pipers here.
That was Michael, the bagpiper. Interesting young man. Not a very common instrument, but here in Nova Scotia, I notice every other person is named McDonald. So this is looking down on that magazine where I saw all the gunpowder stored. Those areas are probably all storage for ammunitions. I don't think I want to go down there. I've been told that there's not a lot going on, just more munitions, and there's a few big guns down there. Hey, I got my own big guns. I don't need theirs. They have the weirdest collection though of weapons. Some of these, oh, they have it. They have it plugged up. I was gonna put my head in there. There's some other buffoonery, chicanery. But you can really see how they could protect this city. They have this built up so very well, with all of the land and the grass. I'm wondering if this is where they kept the cannonballs and all. I'll bet you that's what it is. This is the one that we saw was under construction on the other side. Not much of anything. Boy, I'd hate to get locked in here. Well, I wonder if anyone's home. Why would they have, looks like a teepee to me, but it's probably just a military tent from days gone by. Well, here comes Michael again. There's the Canadian flag. There we go. That's the one that we're all familiar with. I think over there is the barracks. So we're going to go take a look at those barracks next. Apparently they don't know what's in this direction because they have a big question mark. Soldier uniforms, medals. Now this must be about the time, that looks like a helmet from the old doughboys for the US. So I'm right about here right now.
Yep, so there's one that's going to start in 2 minutes, just in 2 doors over.
Oh, I'll get there within 2 minutes if I can slow it down, right?
We saw all those kegs. Up here is where I saw the bagpiper. And it gives you some perspective. This was the entrance where I came in, right here. And I went up that staircase, and we looked over the city. There is the clock. Who rang that bell? Look at that. That is quite a weapon. It says a manually operated volley gun. The Nordenfelt was technologically obsolete by the 1890s, but its simple, rugged construction made it popular on campaign in South Africa. Frequently mounted on armored trains, the long 45 caliber Gatling cartridge was effective out to 1,200 yards. Wow. This housed prisoners of war during World War I. They said this housed up to 150 prisoners. And then around the perimeter, they could house another 150 prisoners. Oh, look at this. What is the changing of the guard? And I think that just about signifies the closing of the fort. I thought this was a fun visit, a lot more fun than in the winter when I couldn't get in. So So this citadel is really interesting in that it's not sitting on top of the hill, it is built in the hill. Essentially what they did is cut off the top of the hill, built the fort, and then took the excavated dirt and built all these berms around it. And during that explosion of 1917, this was one of the structures that just withstood that explosion, even though it's extremely close to the water. And in fact, it protected the structures on the other side, the opposite side of the hill. So quite an interesting way to build a fort back in the days when most forts were built with wood. Be sure to watch the next video where I share a really interesting urban legend, and you'll see a really weird thing that happened to me while I was having dinner after I left. Thanks for joining me, and as always, thanks for subscribing, commenting, and giving me the thumbs up.